But first, just minutes ago, the Commonwealth of Virginia killed John A. Muhammad, the man known as the D.C. sniper. For 1 month in the year 2002, Mr. Muhammad and a teenager named Lee Boyd Malvo terrorized the D.C. metro area with a stolen Bushmaster semi-automatic rifle. Their victims were seemingly chosen at random in parking lots, shopping centers, and gas stations. By the time the men were caught, they had shot and killed 10 people in the District of Columbia, in Maryland, and in Virginia. The younger man, Mr. Malvo, is currently serving life in prison. Mr. Muhammad, however, was sentenced to death. After the Supreme Court refused to hear his appeal yesterday, his attorneys turned to Virginia's governor, Tim Kaine, and argued that their client was mentally ill and brain damaged and that he should be spared. Today, Governor Kaine refused to grant clemency. Governor Kaine personally opposes the death penalty, but he campaigned for governor on the promise that he would not stand in the way of executions. Virginia has the second most prolific death chamber in the country. Only Texas kills more of its prisoners. John A. Muhammad was pronounced dead at 9:11 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. The draconian anti-abortion amendment in the health reform bill that passed the House, called the Stupak Amendment, after its co-writer, Congressman Bart Stupak of Michigan, effectively split House Democrats, and it appears to be doing the same thing to Democrats in the Senate. Democratic Senator Ben Nelson of Nebraska has told Talking Points Memo that he plans on filibustering health reform if the Senate bill doesn't contain something like the Stupak Amendment. Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer of California told the Huffington Post she thinks that the pro-choice side in the Senate has enough votes that Nelson and other Stupak supporters would ultimately fail. Montana's Max Baucus, also a Democrat, agreed. And Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri is seeking to clarify her position after saying this on MSNBC yesterday.
We're talking about whether or not people that get public money can buy an insurance policy that has any coverage for abortion. And that is not the majority of America. The majority of America is not going to be getting subsidies from the government. And so I'm not sure that this is going to be enough to kill the bill.
Some 12 or so hours after those comments, the senator tweeted, quote, "Oppose Stupak. Don't think we should change current law, which is no public money for abortions, but amendment goes too far, limiting private funds too." Then a couple of hours after that, she tweeted again, quote, "Asked this morning my opinion on whether Stupak amendment would kill the bill. Said probably no. And not asked my opinion of the amendment. I am opposed." Our producers spoke with Senator McCaskill's office today to further clarify. They said the senator is firmly opposed to the Stupak amendment. But they said if she had to choose whether or not to vote for a bill that contained an amendment like that in the Senate, well, she'd have to wait and see. And finally, do you see the screen behind me? That's what it looks like in much of Brazil right now. Black. Power is out in Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Cities with a combined population of, 18 million people, roughly the equivalent of New York City and Greater Los Angeles combined. There's no word as to when power might be restored, but Brazilian news media are reporting that there were unspecified problems at a huge hydroelectric power plant on Brazil's border with Paraguay. This gigantic 18 million strong fail comes 3 days after the CBS program 60 Minutes reported that several previous power outages in Brazil were actually caused by hackers. Authorities there downplayed the 60 Minutes report after it aired, and tonight they're sitting in the dark. With our sincere hope that everything winds up okay there, it is yet another reminder that infrastructure matters.